What's good, fam? It's your boy Jorge. Welcome to another episode. You know, I'm freshly off tour.
Another one.
No big deal.
That's so good. How was your drive? I know you were sounded like you were really dreading that.
Well, yeah, dude. Like a whole day of driving, basically, between all the stops.
So did you went to Oregon, drove back, and then flew to Utah?
No.
Oh, I saw you were on a plane, so I was like,
yeah. So we drove to Oregon, which took us about, it should be only like 8 hours, something like that, like Rick Reel outside of Salem.
Yeah.
But I think it took us around 10 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, we're pulling a trailer and stuff.
Oh, okay. You in your truck, or were you just following Jones?
No, I was with Jones.
Oh, okay.
So we go up there, do the show. Great show. It was like a super small, fair.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even, like a typical fair. It was like more like livestock and 4-H, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
Like selling of animals and stuff like that. But the crowd was super excited, fun. Good show. They want us back for next year, so that's always a good thing.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then we drove from Rick Reel, Oregon. So you go up to Portland, and then you go southwest or southeast or whatever.
Yeah.
We drove into Utah or Idaho.
Right. Okay.
And then Utah. So that was about 12 hours, 13 hours maybe. Yeah. Didn't feel like it, but like it does wear and tear on you, you're in a car for that long.
And you just said, fuck it after that and got on an airplane?
No. So what happened is I had a rental car back because Jones had to go somewhere else after that show.
Yeah.
So it's going to be me, Jackson, and then the announcer guy.
Yeah.
So what happened is during the show, one of the riders that does the sketchy ramp, he got all excited. Like it was a private event, actually. It was for this company, and it's for their customer or employee appreciation.
Yeah.
There's like 3,000 people there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it was all, family,
Yeah.
The employees and everything. So it was a lot of people. So it was closed off to the public, but it was a huge stadium, held like 10,000 people. So good crowd. The guy jumps the ramp, the sketchy ramp that he builds during the show. And the crowd was so good. I think he was like, because he was wanting to flip it.
Yeah.
But then during practice, he said, no, I'm not going to do it. No, everyone's like, well, that's fine. Like no one's making you. You're not getting paid to
You're already
do
on
that.
a sketchy ramp. So let's not.
That's not like part of your contract to do it. But he just wanted to do it because he wants to be like the first. It would be like a world record. First sketchy ramp backflip. Yeah. So I guess the crowd was just that good. The show was going great during everything. So he hit it, and then he was gonna do a follow, like someone was gonna follow him, and he flipped it, and he flipped it perfect. He just came up short.
Oh,
so I think
shit.
I think the ramp and what I heard, because I'm doing the audio, the music, and everything, so I'm behind. I couldn't really see anything. I heard like right when he hit the ramp, it like flexed.
Right.
Because there's a different kind of hitting because he's going into flip, right?
Right. It's probably more torque or something because he's trying to pull back. Right?
Exactly. So the ramp like flexed. Obviously, it's just plywood and 2x4x4s or whatever he puts up there. And even his truck ended up moving a little bit. So I think that took a lot of his momentum.
Right.
So he flipped perfect. Like he had to flip and he landed it. He just came up short. So he landed at the top of the landing and it ripped his leg off. And his leg... he's like 2 months after a broken leg.
Oh, shit.
So it ripped his leg off, which it then ripped him off the bike.
Right.
So the bike went one way. He bounced.
So the landing, because it's soft, it's airbag landing. So when he landed, it caught his leg and it took him off the bike, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it ripped him off. So he like landed, bounced from the top all the way to the bottom, which he landed on the airbag still, but the bottom part is not as thick. So he messed up his shoulder there, and So long story short, that happens. We paused the show for a little bit, and then we're really good about it. I didn't think the people were still pumped and everything, but he got hurt, so he drove there. So the announcer guy ended up going to San Diego with him. So then I was going to be solo tripping with my kid. So I just told Jones, I'm like, dude, I'm just going to get a flight.
Yeah,
which worked out.
Yeah, that makes sense. That'd be way faster.
Yeah.
How long was the expected drive back?
Like 8 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. In a car, it's probably a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
But, I was like, oh, we're over it. Like, I would feel bad leaving the announcer dude by himself.
Right.
Driving back because his car's here in front of my house.
Right.
So driving all the way back here and dealing with all that stuff. So I was just like, well, if he's going with Cole, the guy that got hurt, helping him out, then I'm just going to get a flight.
Yeah.
And it was not bad,
Yeah.
2 one-way tickets to Reno. So yeah, that was about it. But it was, cool. I was dreading it for sure because I was like, I haven't been on a long road trip in a long time, and I like being comfortable. It's not the
same way as you get older,
Well, actually, but then you get in there and you're just bullshitting with everyone. You're talking, and the trips go by pretty quick.
Yeah.
Or the drive goes by pretty quick. And even my kid, I was like, he's going to be so bored. And the first leg going up to Oregon, he was like listening to us. And you know how he is. He likes to eavesdrop. And so he's like listening to our conversations, just like chilling and everything. And then the Utah one, he was on his phone most of the time.
Yeah.
That was a long one. And we're already tired from, because we pull in the day of the show, we pull in, set up, hang out for a little bit, then it's showtime, and then we break down. So by the time we're getting back to the hotel, it's like 11 or 12,
Yeah.
And then we got to get up early the next day to drive. So you're already kind of beat up. So yeah, but it was good, dude. It was fun.
Right on.
Yeah.
Cool. And then should we change Gyno Meg's name to Thrifty Meg? She's I'm just a hobbyist. I only have like 160 postings at a time. I was like, what?
What did I call her?
I don't remember.
Oh, reseller Meg.
Oh yeah.
Thrifty Meg's pretty good.
Yeah. Wholesale Meg.
Wholesale Meg. No, she's not into the wholesaling. She said she don't like the big quantities.
Oh my gosh. That was funny.
That was a good episode.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it because I've always thought about that. And like I have a lot of stuff, but to me it's not worth starting an account or like dealing with shit.
Yeah, dealing with people.
For one pair of thing,
Right.
Like one hat. That could be like,
well, she's, but if the stuff, like, she was talking about, she bought something for like $30 and sold it for 300 or something. I mean, if you can count on 10x, markup, I mean, that's probably worth it, but I wouldn't be
for sure
small stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah. But, it also requires time.
That is true.
Yeah. So
that is very true.
I might be going on tour again. I don't know.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Living the tour life. I don't know.
That's cool.
No, we got a show next month in Eureka, California. Never been.
That's not too bad, is it?
It's also an 8-hour drive.
Is it?
According to MapQuest.
Okay.
But, you could always do it a little bit faster.
Yeah, that's the time to beat. That's not the actual time.
Yeah. But I'm excited about that one because that one's like on the coast.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
It's like right on the coast
of
California there. Yeah.
That's sick.
So that one's going to be pretty dope. Two-day show, actually.
Okay.
It was, I think, our first 2-day show because everything we do is kind of like one day. We pull in, pull out, my sex life.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. So, but I'm excited about that one. We'll see. September 13th and 14th, I believe.
Right on.
When it gets closer, I'll make sure to check on the dates. But yeah, good shows. Good. It's a lot of fun.
Free hat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the good life.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like the show's getting momentum. Like a lot of people are seeing it and liking it. It's way different than just your average motorcycle jump show.
Right.
So a lot of people are pumped on it. And, the people that we are getting paid by seem to like it. So they're wanting us back. So
right. No, that's the great sign. That's a good sign. Yeah. And Jones's dialogue's pretty decent.
Yeah.
In it too. When I was at the fair over here.
And that was a 30-minute show.
Yeah.
So the ones we were doing were an hour to an hour 20.
Oh, smokes.
Yeah, they were like full-on shows.
That's a lot. That's a lot of jumping.
Yeah. It's a lot of jumping, a lot of talking, a lot of production.
Yeah. And so the announcer, that's a new bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's like, how's that working out so far?
Good.
Was that the same guy you had out there at the fair I went to? Okay. Yeah, it was good.
That was his first time doing it for our show. He does other stuff. So he kind of blew it here and there.
Yeah.
Especially like on the intro. But we worked out the bugs and the other 2 shows went solid.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's a good addition to it too. He's a good kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
So it's pretty fun. But yeah, always good to be back. You know, it was a good father-son trip.
Yeah, that's kind of worth it in itself, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, you know my kid. He's a good boy, and
he's pretty chill too.
Yeah, just like the whole crew loved him. You know, they're all pumped on him. He helped during the show. Adam paid him a little bit. Like,
oh, cool.
It's just stuff like that. And then he's just a good kid, you know, fun to be around. So it was fun. And for me, like, I try to do everything as a learning lesson.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, learn what we're doing. So I take him up with me to set up the audio stuff. So I show him. And it's not always easy. It's not always just like plug in and that's it, you know?
Yeah, troubleshooting.
Yeah, we got to like figure stuff out, do the audio stuff. And then, you know, he's seeing us like unload the ramp and load the ramps and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, dude, learn this.
Right.
I'm like, you don't have to do that. I always have to explain that too, because I think, I don't know how other parents are. You could tell me. But when I tell my kids certain things about like, you should do sports because you could probably maybe go to college and, you know, whatever. So then when I bring up something and he doesn't like it, I think it like, he like shuts down and doesn't want to hear it.
Right.
Because he's like, that's not what I want to do.
Right.
And it's like, okay, I'm not saying this because I want you to do this. I'm saying this so you can learn from it.
Right.
So when I tell him that, I'm like, this is probably not what your job is going to be. But, you know, he's really into music. So you're going to go be a roadie for a big superstar. This is what you're going to do.
Right.
Just in a different
it's just an opportunity, experience, you know, stuff you can fall back on and learn from. And yeah, maybe this will solidify the fact that you don't want to do this or that you do, you know?
Or you start your own company, the production company that you guys are moving everything in for Taylor Swift concert. Like,
yeah,
you know, she comes to your city and you doing everything. So like, this is just like a small part of it so you can see how it works. You know, that doesn't mean I want you to do this.
Right.
I'm just showing you, you know? So he's like, oh, okay. So I'm like, just everything we're doing here, just pay attention so you learn. And you have an upper hand on a lot of kids growing up because you're like hands-on right now doing a lot of different things, dude.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, totally worth it. And yeah, like you said, it's just good experience. I remember when I was like 12 or 13, I went and worked for a guy for a while over in San Jose. I mean, my mom lived there, so it wasn't like I just went out there. So it was a friend through the family. And I went and I learned how to stripe parking lots.
Oh, okay.
That was a bitch. It was hard, but it was good money.
Especially in San Jose during the
it was
summer.
Fucking hot. You're just out there on the blacktops, 110 degrees or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy, you know, he wasn't like one of those. He was like an old school dude. He was like, get your shit together. Let's move your ass.
Yeah.
Like, all right. So, you know, I got to learn, you know, what hard work was. And at the same time, he was teaching me how to like drop the angles and stuff and figure out, you know, where you need to place the, you know, where we should start, you know, if the first one's got to be a little smaller or something. Yeah. Stuff like that. It was just one of those experiences that kind of stuck with me as I was starting from a young age. So I was like, hard work ain't no shit. It's just a matter of doing it. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And that's what I learned, like growing up with my dad. Like he's had a successful landscaping company since I was a child, I think. Always doing that. So like, I never liked it, but I learned the hard work aspect from it. But it's funny you say that because just my friends that I have, you know, I know some of them had jobs like out of high school or like during high school and stuff. But what you just said, that made them realize like, okay, I have a talent in something else. I don't want to do that. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Shout out to Byton. He's back home. Matt Byton, if you've been following the journey, he's back home. I think he got there yesterday. But Byton, he did construction. Right. And then I think, and he was like a little shit. And then I think he realized like, okay, I don't want to do this. Right. I'm pretty good on a dirt bike. So let me just focus on that. You know? So yeah, sometimes you put your kids in those situations, they're going to realize like, okay, let me not mess around. Yeah. And focus on the talents I have because this is not it. Right. Right. And they would never know. Yeah. I think, just from that, like when I was 16 to 21, I wish I had taken more chances with stuff. You know what I mean? Doing things like you know, because it's like life, and you know, if you're not really exposed to like adventure or you know, getting out and doing stuff, it's kind of like in my world, I was like, oh, I don't know, this is just what you do. You know, I worked at Lowe's for a couple of years and bounced around. I enlisted in the military, stuff like that. But I didn't realize at the time I had nothing to lose. Like, and especially now with the internet and stuff, like there's so much shit. I try to get my niece and nephew like really into, I'm like, just open an online store, see if it's your thing, whatever you're interested in, just do it. And it's going to cost you almost nothing. They got it set up now where you don't even have to buy the shit ahead of time. You know, there's no inventory on hand, you know, it's like Amazon just keeps it for you. I'm like, just try to do some shit. You know, my niece is all into makeup and she like has, I don't know, cosmetic license. So I'm like, try to do some shit. I don't know, TikTok, who knows? Like, you got nothing to lose right now. And, you know,
I mean, Kylie Jenner and Rihanna, billionaires. Dude, Rihanna is one of the biggest pop stars or whatever you want to call her in the world. And the reason she's a billionaire is because she started a makeup line, not because of her other stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so she has that Fenty line, which does like clothing line and stuff too. Kardashian or Jenner, all the other ones older than her. She's the youngest one, right? Yeah. Kylie Jenner, first billionaire out of the family because she started a makeup line.
Damn, that's nuts.
Yeah. So people like makeup. People like going on YouTube. That whole makeup line or videos on YouTube it's a very successful type of category.
Yeah.
People love it. Like even the guys that do like the makeup tutorials.
Yeah.
Like actually I don't know, but Jeffree Star. I don't know if he started off doing that, but one of the biggest dudes on YouTube because I think he was doing makeup shit.
That's fucking crazy.
You know?
It's hard work too. I mean, it's just consistency and doing it. But if you enjoy it, you know, like one of my favorite photographers on like Instagram, what's his name? Like WCB Visions. I started following him.
What a great name.
Yeah. I think that's his initials or something. And like I started following him when he had like 1,200 followers, you know, and I just kept messaging him like, me and him actually struck up a friendship, but I was like, how in the fuck do you not have more followers? He's like, I don't know. I don't get it. And then all of a sudden he went slowly up to 10,000. And then almost in like 2 weeks, he jumped from 10 to 20. And now he's on his way to 30. And I'm like, all right, dude, you got it. Like the algo's got a hold of you. So just keep it up.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just kind of one of those things that
but that's tough. So I don't know what that guy does, but also
he does like the sports stuff.
Yeah. But you got to bring, like if he's just posting the same stuff, like after a while, it's like, yeah, cool, dude. I like the very first post you posted. Yeah. But like now everything's the same, just different people in it. So you got to bring him value as far as like if he showed you techniques and stuff, then you're like, oh shit, that's cool. It's like Peter McKinnon, photographer, or photographer. I think he is. I don't know if he was a video.
That's how he started. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he was a videographer or a photographer first, but anyways, that's how he started. Yeah, and he same thing happened to him. He went from like this to this to this, and then all of a sudden like millions, and now he's like one of the most popular photographers out there. And but what made it for him was that he was showing everything that he did, right, and then how he did it. Yeah. So like tips. So like when you watch his videos, you're not just being entertained, you're also learning. Right. So I think that's what people like.
Yeah, educational. And that's this guy. He mostly posts just for his business. Yeah, which that's what he does. But when you get into that line, it's like mostly like if I put on an ad for Instagram, they'll try to just push it to photographers because that's mostly like even who follows me.
But you could customize.
It's like So I have to I find that if I let Instagram do the ads for me, they fuck it up. Yeah. I gotta do my own custom thing because I'm like I don't care about other photographers seeing my shit. I want people that are gonna be like, oh, I want that for my kid. Yeah. And and then when I do it myself, it's much more successful. Yeah. So absolutely. Anyway, I guess where I was headed was just the grind on top of doing it. You can't just do it and be like, it's not working. Yeah. But,
like I always say this, there's always that guy or that person that blows up kind of overnight, it seems like. Yeah. And us as the watcher, we're like, man, that guy's so lucky. Yeah. But then you find out and you're like, oh, he's been streaming for 10 years.
Right. Yeah.
So he's been doing it for 10 years and then now he just blew up and now he's like the biggest thing. But he's been doing it for 10 years without any reward, like minimal, Yeah. So that always happens. So hard work, dedication, and then consistency.
Yeah. When times suck, consistency,
Hey, so a question. When you were that age, like 16 to 20, how you're talking about, like, was that getting those jobs, was that required by your parents?
No.
Or you just kind of did it?
I just did it.
But there was no push from your parents at all? But then also there was no guidance from your parents?
No,
like
I just
Dave,
had the typical millennial family. You got to go to college. You got to do this, you know? And so I was like, you know, part of the joining the military. It didn't work out. I went to boot camp and then, you know, they basically said, well, the qualifying testing you did wasn't, when you're not scoring this, like, everything was the same, but my big problem was I was colorblind. And so before you go in the military, they test you for all that shit and say, okay, you're qualified for these jobs, and then you pick one. Yeah, when you try to enter, you were part of the LGB, and they weren't right. They weren't accepting that. No, they gave me a boost because of that. So they say, oh, okay, they gave me all the tests, and then I went off to the military by the Great Lakes there, and the Navy, and they test you again. Like, kind of questionable. Why would they do that? First off, double checking. Yeah, double checking. Oh, you're colorblind. I'm like, yeah. They don't do that now. Are you finding that out now? And ironically, I had a friend, Sean, had the same exact thing happen to him, and I saw where he ended up. He ended up being a shopkeeper for like 12 hours a day on an aircraft carrier, and I was like, this ain't gonna work for me. So we, you know, long story short, I got out of there before I finished boot camp because I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna be a shopkeeper. I wanted to be like this secret squirrel. I thought he was a decorated hero. Yeah, he claims to be. I mean, he was on a ship during war, right? Okay. But obviously he says that in comedic context. Yeah. But I saw what happened to him, and he went in a couple years before me, and I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work for me. I know how this shit goes. So same thing, the Navy? Yeah. You guys were both in this? Okay. So but a lot of the reason I enlisted was because of education purposes. I was like, this would be a good way to get college. Should have been a sniper, dude. I'll get some education, out of it, and it'll kind of set me up because I want to do a pretty technical field, taking photos of satellites of other ports and stuff like that. And they're like, no, you can't do that. Well, yeah, you're colorblind. Yeah. So that's why you should have been on the front line, sniper, and then you should have been I got an advantage because I don't see color. So whoever I kill, everyone's dead. Yeah, everyone. There's no race or nothing. It's just I'm just shooting. You're down sight. Sorry. Yeah. So what do you think as far as to end the conversation? What would be your advice to your kid now? Then just I just want to instill what hard work and consistency will get you. You know, I mean, nowadays I don't know how you feel or anyone watching feels, but like we're in an era now where college is like extremely questionable. Yeah. Like unless you're going to go in for like a specialty, and not to knock on you, I know you got like an art degree, but like kids racking up $80,000 in debt for a liberal arts degree is like, that's not a great way to go. Right. Like it's not setting you up for like a career. Like if you're going to go get a business degree or do something specialized like accounting, a doctor, a lawyer, otherwise you could go get, what do they call them? Vocational stuff and be killing it out of the gates. Yeah. You can become an electrician, a plumber, apprenticeship programs, stuff like that, and just do amazing things. Or you could join the ranks of, especially when you're young, like I said, there's like no risk involved in doing something online, social media, or even just trying to find the way. Well, don't say that because now every kid wants to be a social media thing and they don't have any ambition for anything else. So college and all these other trade schools are not in the mirror. Right. Because now I want to be a TikToker. Well, yeah, but with along with that, the work ethic and stuff, I mean, you have to sit down. Like I went to school for business. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, you got to sit down. How are you going to differentiate yourself from everyone else? What's going to be unique to you? Otherwise, there's 5 other guys talking about camera gear and, whatever. 20,000 guys really. Yeah. People. So, I just want to instill that hard work ethic. No matter what they want to do, just know you're going to have to do the work. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And, some people I feel like a lot of people nowadays are using college as a way to avoid having to do hard work. Depending on the degree you're getting. And it's like, well, now you're just giving away time instead of being productive. I think if your kid's good enough for some kind of good scholarship for college,
obviously that then do it.
Yeah.
And then whatever they do in college, whatever. But if they're not and you're going to have to pay yourself, then yeah, maybe consider other things like that. Like, hey, you really like this? Like you could do this instead. You could get the experience now. So by the time your friends graduate college, you already have 4 years of experience in that job.
Right.
You know, stuff like that. So I agree. But what at what age do you think it's time to stop messing around because you have plenty of time and start focusing?
Well, if they can do that right out of the gates,
yeah,
that's fantastic. You know, they can get 3 or 4 different little.
I can retire by the time they're 50.
Yeah, 4 or 5 different little projects going. You know, whether it's online, it could be 4 or 5 different stores and different things. You know, who knows? Mm-hmm. Just pick a few and just go for it, hammer away, because you got nothing else going for you. You know, I don't know that there's an actual age where that matters. It's accumulation of assets and family that determines when it's time to stop dicking around, you know? Mm-hmm. So probably late 20s.
Okay.
I mean, what do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, because you know, like we got families, so it's not like we can just try something new right now.
We can, because I think we're set up.
Right. Well, we're on the other side of it now, right? Like we're at the top of the hill going down as the hill's getting steep. But you know, from, you know, your late 20s to, you know, 40, it's kind of like, or maybe even mid 30s, you're just kind of like building what you have, you know, kind of going with that. But when you're in your, you know, mid to late teens, early 20s, you do, the sky's the limit. Anything you want to try, just go do it. And
you're a dumbass at that time too. Yeah. So like, even if you're getting money, you're probably wasting it. So,
and I think one of the things that held me back, well, one, we live in a totally different age now with the internet, but the other thing that held me back is just worrying about what other people are going to think that I know, that knew me. And now, you know, it's just like,
that's the worst thing.
That shit don't matter.
Yeah.
I'm trying to reach a scale that's fucking way larger than as many people as I care to know, you know? Mm-hmm. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, do you know, what's the demographics on this show?
Women.
30, 40, 50%? Yeah. Women age.
No, I
assume most people are older.
24 to like 45.
Okay. So 24-year-olds. Fucking just go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's a time too. You need to kind of have your shit together a little bit too.
Yeah.
So I was going to have this person on the podcast, but you know, she's all the way in Australia, the new breakdancing sensation, Raygun.
Yeah, nice.
I don't know if you saw that.
I love it.
The Olympic.
She got breakdancing canceled.
It was actually canceled before the event even happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah, so that was interesting. So and you know what? I think everyone's giving her a hard time, but if you really look at her background, it's like what you're saying, college nowadays, and this is Australia, so it might be different than the United States, but the stuff they're teaching in college nowadays is a little bit questionable. That's why it's like, why would I send my kid there when, like, I don't want them to learn that. Like, that's nonsense, you know? So she is a professor at a college in Australia, you know? And I think she teaches like the history of breakdancing and stuff like that. So when you watch her breakdance, it makes sense. Like, that's what she was doing. She's not the new age stuff, you know?
Right.
And she did some pretty cool moves, I thought.
It was funny. I thought it was hilarious. Did you? I don't know if you caught this quote, but she said most people, you know, all the other competitors have spent their life learning how to break dance. I spent literally 37 minutes working on this, and that was it.
But she's a breakdancer, though.
Well, she teaches breakdance. This is like college professor stuff, right?
So that's what I'm saying.
A lot of them, like when I went to school, my favorite, I had a couple of, I went to a private college up in Tahoe there. It's not like a, you know.
It's not Harvard.
Yeah, it's not Harvard by any means. But what I loved was these weren't professors coming out and teaching theory on shit. Like all of them, like one of my favorites, his name was Jiri. His last name was Jiri. He was a lawyer on Survivor. Like, you know, he was,
the show.
You know, and he taught business classes on law. Mm-hmm. And so everything that, I mean, I learned more from him in his lecture than I ever did out of the textbook.
Yeah.
He just, you know, another guy was an executive at Coca-Cola, a few other big places, and he was marketing. And so, like, you know, the things I drew from them was just, you know, extremely substantial compared to what the book was like. Okay, this is how you know, do this.
Yeah.
normal textbook shit, but they were like giving you life lessons, like, hey, this is what you're looking for. This is what you want to do. When you're real young, take the title over the pay because the title is what's going to get you the next job, that kind of thing. So it just made a huge difference than someone that's like, well, I'm going to teach you out of the textbook.
Yeah.
But I have like 2 years experience in the real world. You know, it's kind of like, okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't hear her say that. So I thought she was a legit breakdancer, but at the same time, she's just like more of the performing art because she teaches it as a college course, not as an instructor teaching your kid how to breakdance, right?
Right.
So she's teaching like the art of it, I think, in her classes probably. And
and that's a good point. I think that I don't know a lot about breakdancing, but there's like in art, there's a lot of interpretation. So who's to say who's the best breakdancer is? That's boxing, the one that gets his ass whooped lost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's why when I saw it, I was like, I get what she's doing. Yes, it's funny and some of her moves, and at the same time, you're like at the Olympics, so you should probably bring out all your good stuff. Like these other girls are killing it, and you're kind of performing arts type deal. It's like you need to bring it a little bit more than that, but it is what it is. But that was like the most talked about thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, her quote said, "I mission accomplished. I'm the most well-known breakdancer right now."
Yeah, but for a bad reason. But yeah, so the Olympics in LA 2028 breakdancing is out. But I think they already decided that before even.
Yeah, I think interestingly enough, they're bringing in cricket in its place. And
well, cricket is one of the biggest sports in the world because of India.
Which is ironic that the next Olympics is in LA and we don't play cricket here.
So here's the most out of that. I think this is bigger and no one's talked about it. Dude, boxing is out of the Olympics.
What?
For this next one, yeah. At least for this next one.
Why?
So breakdancing and boxing are out. And I'm like,
why would you get rid of boxing?
Well, they got trannies beating up chicks.
Well, I mean, just change the rules. But so
no, but that was before. That was before they knew that. But I'm just saying, yeah, it was kind of a weird thing because, I don't know like the origins of the Olympics, but it's kind of like gladiator time type deal, like the games, stuff like that. So, combat is part of the Olympics, I think.
Yeah.
You got wrestling, and those were like the first events in the Olympics,
right?
And then now they're taking out a combat sport, which is crazy.
That is nuts. That's like, to me, that's like one of the original.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So boxing is out, which is funny because Jake Paul was saying, "Fuck it, I'm gonna get a gold medal at the 2028 Olympics."
Oh God,
saying he wants to go
in the women's class, or
well, I don't know which class he was gonna do, but the United States haven't won a medal in that discipline in a long time.
Yeah.
So he was ready for that, but I wonder if because he's in boxing, he knows.
Yeah.
So it's probably already canceled. So then he starts yapping I'm going to do this and that. And it's like, well, you're not going to get the chance because it's not in the Olympics no more.
Right.
So that was kind of weird. But the new events are flag football, cricket, squash, baseball, softball, and lacrosse.
Why would they have flag football?
I don't know. But softball, like baseball, I don't know. But softball kind of makes sense to me for some reason.
Yeah.
Like the women.
Did they say they were taking out, was soccer a part of that?
Yeah. Soccer's in it.
I could have swore I heard they were taking it out or something, or maybe someone was complaining, but.
Well, it's kind of one of the bigger sports.
Yeah, but
also like you got to realize in the Olympics, I don't know if the rules have changed, but when it comes to like soccer or probably not the NBA, the basketball, but soccer, I know it's not their starting national squad. It's mostly their under 19 squad.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think they could have like 3 or 4 like veterans are above the age of 19, but everyone else on the squad has to be like the young, because it's like, it's basic, like, because otherwise it'd be basically like the World Cup.
Yeah. That's what I was going to bring up is like, I don't understand why soccer's on there when they have the World Cup every year.
No, it's every 4 years.
Oh, see? Okay.
But I think
hopefully an alternate years.
Yeah, but I think that's why, because it gives those kids that are not on the national team yet, a chance to get some kind of world experience.
Yeah.
So the U19 kids, whatever, go out there and play, and then that's where they get recognized. They're like, oh damn, that guy's good. So
yeah,
they get pulled up to the men's or the women's. So, and I don't know if other sports are like that. I don't think so, because the NBA had like every single star of the United States,
right?
Because otherwise it'd just be like LeBron and Steph Curry, and then everyone else is like under 20,
right?
So I don't think NBA or the basketball discipline is like that, but I know soccer is or was.
Okay.
So, yeah, but yeah, soccer is one of the bigger ones, But
I saw a clip of Steph Curry, since he went on like a rampage of, 3-pointers at the end there of their last game, where he was, I don't know where they were. They looked like they were in some really nice facility, but it was like he just lobbed 6 balls from the opposite side of the court and just made each one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was pumped at the end. You could tell. He was like, holy shit. But I was like, dang, that's wild.
Yeah, kids need to steady him and realize, like, it's not that he's just good at shooting the ball.
Yeah.
It's practice.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think I don't know much, but I don't think he ever shows that or talks about like, hey, I'm in the gym like all the time shooting.
Right.
I think people just assume that guy's a great shooter.
Yeah.
He just shoots from everywhere.
He just goes and does pickup games.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure he practices.
Oh yeah. All those guys
lot.
just kill it. The top tier dudes just got to be doing it. Speaking of athletes, you see Colin Kaepernick's trying to get back in the NFL?
I didn't see that. I did see like memes like, oh, we know the NFL's back because Colin Kaepernick's saying that he wants to play or whatever. But I did see that he talking about the flag football. He wanted to play on that.
Oh, okay. That'd be cool.
That'd be kind of cool.
I mean, he's kind of ousted himself from the NFL with
yeah, but at the same time, it's like the times are changing.
Yeah.
People are doing way worse stuff than kneeling at a game now. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah, but you got to look. He at one point compared the NFL to the slave trade. And now he's being interviewed and saying, well, I'm just ready for the opportunity. Yeah. For what? To be in the slave trade again? Like, what do you, dude, come on. Yeah. Like, pick a side and stick to your guns.
Well.
And he's like 37, 38. So he's kind of getting out there,
Yeah. On that part, yeah, I think someone should have given him a chance a while ago. But now it's like, yeah, you're getting a little bit older and stuff. But there was a time there in the NFL where some of the quarterbacks just sucked. And it's like, there's Kaepernick there. And he did go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's like, his first year out?
Yeah, something like that. So, I mean, he's not going to do much worse than the guy you have in right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they didn't give him a chance, and it is what it is. So maybe.
Well, his second year, what they did was they stopped running because he was known just for running. Mm-hmm. He was great at like just crossing the line and going for it. So the first year he did that. The second year they totally like disabled him. They're like, no, we want you to be a quarterback now, and it kind of limited what his capabilities.
But that's coaching, because you look at Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson. It's one of the best runners in the league. Yeah, and he gets more rushing yards than some other players. Right? That should be getting rushing yards, and they haven't caught on to like how he does it. Because they got a good coaching staff. He can throw it and run, so it doesn't matter, because he's going to hurt you one way or the other. And I think with Kaepernick, they started doing that, and they were limiting him when it's like he can hurt you on the run, and he had an arm on him. I don't know how accurate he was, but he had a pretty good arm on him. Yeah, So I don't know. Maybe he makes it onto the flag football.
I mean, that'd be cool if he went to the Olympics for flag football.
It'd be kind of weird. I don't know how that works. Like, how do you, I think they can only have like 1 or 2 NFL players.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because that's kind of unfair. Because other countries like
don't have,
say Japan has
football,
they don't have an NFL Japan player.
Yeah. And then what do they call football in the rest of the world? Because football,
American football.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I heard that really fast dude from the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. I forget his name. The cheetah. But he was going to probably be on the team. But it's like, how do you pick who's going to be on the team and how many NFL players do you get?
Right.
Because
I don't know.
And then who else gets picked? Like, can me and you try out? You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's do it
for flag football. Yeah. I don't get it.
We'll be on the 50U club.
50U. That's what you need.
Yeah. So the Olympics real quick. Do you have a take on what happened with the women's boxing?
No, but it needs to happen more.
What do you mean?
I think more men need to join every single team, sport team or whatever discipline, and just beat the shit out of all the girls till we finally realize that, hey, there's a big difference between men and women. That's the only way it's going to happen.
Right now. Yeah, I don't see how they're like, no one's up in arms about this. Like,
that's what I'm saying. So right now, like, I actually saw a lot of men really were the ones coming out like, what a coward. Like, that's a man beating on women.
Yeah. I know it's for Emaine, her first fight lasted 46 seconds.
Yeah. So, but then you didn't really see many women come out and like, that sucks. Like, that's crazy or whatever. So, and even if I think the normal people are like, that's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Like, a man shouldn't be, or whatever the situation is, but there's still going to be those people, the women, they're going to be like, oh, we're equal, like men and women. So the more this happens and the more women lose to men in certain disciplines, then I think people are going to start realizing like, okay, there's a big difference.
Yeah. You know what was interesting about it is that the Olympics that I found out, because I was like, well, how is this person in there, but Leah Thomas wasn't swimming? And what the Olympics did is they basically rest on the governing body of that sport. So like the World Aquatic whatever governing body said, no, Leah Thomas doesn't qualify for international swimming. And then the boxing commission worldwide, whatever that is, basically allowed these guys to come in, you know.
But are they really guys though, is the thing?
Well, you know, I'm a little unclear because I'd like to know. I'm like, if that's really a woman, and I had this conversation on my podcast, if that's really a woman, then no, she should be allowed in to box.
Yeah.
But they're saying, oh, well, she just has elevated testosterone. I'm like, okay, are they on TRT? Obviously, that's a PED. Were they born a woman? Because both the people in the final boxing match were both men.
And who won?
Emaine.
Oh, that one?
Yeah. But they're both men, right?
Well,
at least that's the controversy. And so I'm like, so what was it? How were they born? Should they pull down their pants and show us what they got? I don't know.
Well, but you could cut that off and attach
things. But at that
nowadays.
point, you can see the surgical.
Yeah.
You know, you could judge the surgeon at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. There doesn't seem to be anything clear other than the fact
I think that's what she should have done.
Yeah. I'd be like,
got the gold medal and then just pulled it down.
Like in the scene from Waiting when the chick's just like, check this out. She pulls it, big old bush.
Yeah.
The movie Waiting. No. Oh, that's funny. But there just needs to be a little bit of clarity. Were they born a woman? But from my understanding, they both failed a blood test proving that they were a woman. So it's like,
I just don't understand how they let it happen, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like they are women, but they're probably on stuff, like you're saying.
Something. I mean, I don't know.
Which is illegal.
I'd imagine the Olympics is testing the athletes for PEDs.
Well, they're testing for gender and they're still allowing, you know, so it's like, I don't know.
I need to go watch a video of these people, just like a normal video, just see their behavior, be like, oh no, that's a dude.
Well, I'm sure you could find that videos of that Emaine person on YouTube, like coming through the ring. So maybe when she was younger, and you could tell like, oh yeah, that is a little girl. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I don't even know how old.
The biggest Adam's apple we've ever
sure
seen.
She's not. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I saw a lot of misinformation stuff going around about that, like, yes, she is, and then other people were like, no, she's not.
That's why I'm confused. I'm like, well, what's the truth? I don't.
But whatever. I say the better, because then we're gonna realize, like, hey, men are a little bit over here when it comes to like certain stuff.
Right.
Certain things, not everything.
Yeah.
So let's stop that conversation.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
But I don't think that's gonna happen until like maybe it's like at a big event. Because as far as like women in the United States, I think the most celebrated and decorated women's sports is soccer, because they dominate. I don't even know if they won the Olympics, but I'm pretty sure they won. Okay. Like, I didn't even watch it. Yeah. But I'm assuming they won because they're that dominant. Right. So just wait till like Brazil gets like 3 men on the squad, and then the United States have nothing for them in the World Cup. Right. They just get smoked. Everyone gets smoked. Then people might be like, because like I'm saying, that's like a big thing here in the States.
A couple chicks walking around like Terry Crews.
Yeah. Like the goalkeeper is just like the man goalkeeper for Brazil. He's like, what? I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But let's talk about your man, Joe Rogan. his new Netflix special, Burn the Boats.
Right.
I heard it sucked.
Really?
Bad. So this is a little snippet from the article. Despite being arguably the most popular American podcaster, behind us, of course, Joe Rogan has come under fire for his poorly rated Netflix stand-up special, Burn the Boats. This is key right here. It was filmed at his comedy club, The Mothership in Austin, Texas, and performed in front of a crowd of his friends and podcast fans. So it wasn't, well, I mean, obviously it'd be fans if you went anywhere.
Yeah.
But like, it was like mostly his friends and stuff. So I didn't watch it, so I don't know how the laughs were. But I would imagine like he's super comfortable up there, and the laughs would have been a lot louder and everything, because it's like you're hanging out with your friends. Right. And they're all probably tuned up and stuff like that. So it probably made for a better visual than other comics where like you don't really hear the crowd laughing, you know, sometimes. So I don't know. But yeah, so fans have come out saying his last comedy routine for being unfunny at best and offensively unoriginal at worst.
Wow.
Not only does Rogan repeat past jokes from other specials he's done, he's recited on stage. He also lifted lines and concepts from funnier stand-ups like Bill Burr and others. For a popular commentator and culture tastemaker like Rogan, who wears many creative hats, it's a wonder why he struggles to succeed in his own so-called profession. That kind of hurts right there.
Yeah. That's pretty hardcore. Where did you pull that from?
I forget.
Okay.
I just Googled that shit, and then that was one of the articles that came up.
Do they have Rotten Tomato scores on those?
I don't know.
I feel like a Netflix special might be. Anyway, just curious. Wow.
Yeah.
That's bad. I didn't watch it. I haven't watched it. Probably won't watch it.
Well, and I've heard other people. That's why I looked it up, because I heard other people talking about it. And yeah, it sounds like he's just not funny. And the thing is, like, I know Joe Rogan from UFC.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with him, because some other people, like my wife knows Joe Rogan from Fear Factor.
Oh, okay.
I've never watched it. So I wouldn't, I know that stuff now, right?
Yeah.
But she knew him from Fear Factor, and she's like, oh, that's a Fear Factor guy. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That's funny. I would have never, like, I've watched Fear Factor. I would have never been like, yeah, that's Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the announcer. It's like the guy from Survivor that's been there for 80 years.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know who that is.
But yeah, so I know him from UFC, and other people know him from stand-up. He's been doing stand-up forever, like before he got in the UFC.
Yeah.
And probably the reason why he got Fear Factor, because he was performing and doing stuff like that. So it's crazy that they're like you know, like he's the one that says he's a stand-up comedian, not anyone else does.
Yeah.
So I've seen clips, and I never thought he was actually funny.
Right.
I am gonna watch this special.
I gotta agree with you. Anything I've seen of his, I'm just like, meh.
Yeah. And I think he's just so. One of the podcasts I listened to, and they were like, dude, the problem is with him is that everyone around him knows that's Joe Rogan. No one's gonna tell him, dude, you're not funny.
Right.
Dude, your like bits are outdated. No one's telling him that.
Right.
But he's come.
He's in a bubble.
Yeah, but he has this like mothership, which they actually called like the NBA bubble during the pandemic, where I guess it's like super hard to get in. It's like 4 months waiting list.
Yeah.
Because it's him and all his buddies and all like the pop. But like his buddies are like progressing.
Right.
A lot of his guys that perform at his stand-up place are becoming very popular because they're getting the repetition of doing shows every night and everything. And then also like people are like, oh, that's Joe Rogan's buddy or whatever.
Right.
So that's also a plus. But they're just like a lot funnier and coming out and everything. It's like, how do you hang out with these guys, but yet you're not funny?
Yeah. I mean, if you look, like, he's a great podcaster, right?
Yeah.
And some of my favorite podcasts are him with his buddies. So, I mean, you know, they just got that routine down, or like their personalities really flourish there. But yeah, maybe he's just not a stand-up guy.
Quick question. You watch those. I actually don't watch when he does comedy podcasts. Okay. Because it bores me.
Okay.
How many times does he actually make you laugh compared to his guest?
Yeah, it's probably 70-30.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's not the funny one.
Right.
Yeah. Even though he's a comedian.
Well,
which is wild.
Right.
But no one in his bubble is actually telling him, hey, like your jokes are outdated. Like I heard there was a lot of like grunting and just yelling and just like weird things. Like, a lot of people do a lot of movements and facial expressions, and that's what makes stuff funny.
Yeah.
But also
he just kind of marches around the stage.
Yeah. But what you're saying also is part of that, right?
Right.
So it's like you're saying it, but then you're doing it and you're just like, oh, that's kind of awkward or that's kind of cringe.
Right.
From what I gathered that he does. I'm like, huh.
Yeah, maybe it's just not his thing.
But, and it's crazy because he's so popular and he has the biggest podcast and stuff. But I think, like I've said before, I think his podcast is so big because of the people he gets.
Yeah.
And he's gotten so like good at the conversations that it's easy for him, he's just hanging out.
Right.
He's drinking, hanging out.
Well, like we said before, he did the grind since like 2010 or something. I don't know.
He was podcasting for 10 years before he blew up. That's why I kind of say that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was podcasting before podcast was even anything. So he was doing it for 10 years and then all of a sudden he got popular and he is where he is now.
Right.
But he's been doing comedy way longer and people just don't think he's funny.
Yeah.
I've never, and I'm
maybe he's just pulling too much out of the bank there to, between podcast, because his podcasts are 3 hours long and he's doing how many a week?
But you figure he's so educated that, like, that's the thing about comedians. They're so witty and know a lot of stuff that they, when you're roasting the audience, you have to be like on your toes and know stuff.
Yeah.
Like I watch this one guy and he's like Muslim or, somewhere in India, and he'll like start talking to people and he'll be like, what's your name? And it's like a Muslim. He's like, oh, I bet you do this. And he's like, what's your job? He's like, see, told you. Like, it's just stuff like that. And it's so funny.
Yeah.
Or like, they're just so witty and just aware of everything. And Joe Rogan knows so much, right? Because that's why his podcasts are so good, because he has a lot of knowledge.
Right.
But yet he can't translate that to be funny.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, can't be the best at them all.
Yeah, I mean, well, he could be funny.
I'd say he's the best podcaster and best UFC announcer.
Yeah,
easy. So
yeah, definitely
couldn't get the trifecta. What a loser!
What a loser, dude.
But it's funny you mentioned that, like basically working the crowd and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you ever watched Matt Rife. He's kind of become big in the last couple of years.
Yeah,
I've never watched any of his stuff. Some of the stuff
because he was sucking the cock.
Something, yeah.
That's what allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. That's why his jawline got so strong.
Yeah.
But his new special, that's all it is.
Oh,
his entire thing. He's like, so I'm gonna do this and whatever. And I just watched a little intro to it last night, and he's like, everyone says, oh, I could do that, work in the crowd, but yeah. And then half of the ad for it is him just kind of blowing the crowd up, and stuff, and that's all he did.
Because that's where they get the funniest clips.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also, I don't think his stand-up's going to be that. But I think it's because they also don't allow phones at that stuff because they don't like their bits to be leaked.
Right.
So I think that's what it is. They're not going to show their bits because they like to like hide that.
Right.
Because if you have it out there, no one's going to come to your show because they could just watch.
Right.
So a lot of the comedians, if you see what they post, it's always talking to the crowd or, talking shit to them and stuff like that. It's never their actual bits. Really.
Right.
But yeah, that's why I've always been more of a fan of like the African American comedians.
Yeah,
I think they're just more what Joe Rogan needs. They're more animated. They're just funnier. But
like Kevin Hart,
that
dude is so fucking funny, and half of it's his facial expression.
Exactly.
Like, holy shit!
Or he's yelling, and how many times has just that one comedy special that I think he's kind of fallen off because he's probably biting more than he can chew. Like he's in every single movie.
Yeah. And
then he puts out specials and it's like, you probably kind of rushed that one, but his OG specials that he would come out with, dude, every meme out there is Kevin Hart from one of those specials.
Right.
They're like, it was so funny,
Speaking of him, did you see the ratings on the new Borderland movie?
Huh.
Like, I didn't even hear about it. That's how low. They have like a ton of big names in this movie. 0% are Rotten Tomatoes.
What is it? Borderlands?
Borderlands. Like after the video game?
Yeah. The show?
No, it's a movie.
It's a movie. I thought it was a show.
No, I'm pretty sure it's a movie, and it just flopped. Huge. I'm like, damn, that sucks.
Why is he in it?
Yeah.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, what the hell is he doing in the video? So that's what I'm saying. He's in everything.
I have no idea, but it's just like I've never even like I think I heard a blurb about this movie like a year ago that it was in production.
Yeah.
And now it's come out. I haven't heard shit about it. And
dude, I watched the movie on Amazon Prime of him. It's a new one that was based on him in the movie industry. So it was like, I don't know. It was the lamest thing I'm gonna do.
Was it him?
Yeah, it was him.
Okay. But it was based on him.
But he's Kevin Hart in the movie.
Okay.
Being a movie star.
All right.
And I'm like, oh, dude. Let's settle down a little bit, dude. I couldn't believe it that I watched it, but I was like, damn, that movie kind of sucked.
Yeah, that's too bad.
It's like he ran out of original topics. Like, let's make a movie about me being a movie star in a movie.
Right.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, come on, man.
Not the first time that's happened.
Yeah, but that's where Dave Chappelle's so good.
He should have known that was a fatal flaw. Because I mean, look at Nicolas Cage. What was the movie he was in where he played Nicolas Cage? It's recent.
That was recent though.
Something Talent.
That was probably better than the Kevin Hart one though.
Oh, God, I don't know. He plays some pretty bad, in some pretty bad movies.
I didn't watch it, but Dave Chappelle, he comes out and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna tell you this joke," and then he tells you the joke and you still laugh.
Yeah.
He's like, "See, I'm the best."
Yeah.
It's like, but also the confidence he has.
Right.
That's what makes him so funny. But it's a hard thing, dude. I always think about bits in my head and I like write them in my head.
Yeah.
Well, that's so funny. But then I'm like, I picture myself on stage, like, how would I say this? And then I can't do it. So I'm like, that's why I'm not a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they all talk about how many times you got to go through a routine before it becomes natural and shit, you know. And
I would just come out and start cussing at everyone.
Yeah.
What's up, motherfuckers? Like, that's about it.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I always write bits in my own head and I'm like, that's pretty good. But then I'm like, but I wonder if I actually like said it to someone, if they would think it's good.
Right.
Do you do that? Write bits in your head?
I do. Sometimes I'll just start laughing. My wife's like, what? And I'm like, I just thought of the funniest thing. I'm so fucked up. And then I'll tell her and she's like, God, you're an idiot.
But do you make it into a bit?
I'm like, yeah, but it's not for women. Guys would think that's funny.
You're one of those comedians.
Yeah.
Okay.
I went and saw, speaking of that, I went and saw Lisa Lampanelli one time. You know who she is?
Yeah, I saw her too.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Fuck. It rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, yeah, locker room tops.
You're a woman hater. That's
I'm not, but I was just like, because I've seen plenty of women, Ali Wong and shit.
She sucks.
See, I thought some of her stuff was funny. But like Lisa Lampanelli, I wasn't sure what I was getting into. My uncle was just like, let's go. And then
she's so funny.
Yeah, and it was like the whole time she was basically working the crowd, just calling everyone, you know, you're a Jew with a small dick, you know. And this was back in, I don't know, the mid 2000s, you know, 2010 to 14, somewhere in there. And to me, I was like, that's locker room talk. Yeah. Like, it's funny when you're just with the guys.
Oh, it's because she's an unattractive older white lady that you didn't like it.
All those things apply.
But if it was Ali Wong, you would have been all about it.
I don't know. It was weird. I was like, nah, okay, whatever.
Unbelievable. I thought it was hilarious. She was the queen of roasting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She was good.
But
she probably got canceled. Is what happened. I haven't heard from her in a long time.
No, she can't get. She's a woman. She can't get canceled.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah. But unless you're Amy Schumer and stealing other people's shit.
Oh, that's another thing about the Joe Rogans, saying that he like referenced other people's jokes.
Right.
What's that mean? Not stealing?
Yeah.
But Joe Rogan was a big controversy where he came after Carlos Mencia for stealing people's jokes.
His jokes, in fact.
Other people's jokes. Yeah, but probably his jokes too. And ruined Carlos Mencia, basically.
Yeah. Well, I think if you're taking the idea of something, because I mean, how many different, let's say there's 40,000 different things you could talk about, right?
But I think you got to ask. Because I listen to other comics.
Like, is it the same punchline? Then you're copyright infringement, right? If it's the same idea and you make it funny for a reason, I don't know if that's stealing or not.
Yeah. Well, it's so hard because, you know, for example, like one of the biggest topics was Donald Trump getting blasted in the ear.
Right.
You know, even though his ear looks completely fine. Like if you got blasted in the ear, you might be missing a piece, but I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
I've never been shot in the ear, so I don't know. Anyways, so you have that's going to be a topic you talk about.
Right.
how many different ways can you say that?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? So like, yeah, everyone, if you're building a joke for that time, there might be 10 comedians that say the same exact joke, but in different ways. So I don't know how that works, but I think when, like they said, Bill Burr, which is a great comedian, he's done specials.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites, dude. On Joe Rogan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's fucking funny.
And in his specials, he's done these jokes, and then all of a sudden, Joe Rogan kind of took that same thing.
Yeah.
That's when it's like, well, isn't that stealing, or you're basically borrowing his idea?
Right.
Like, there's not enough topics in the world at this moment that you could have picked from, that you have to talk about a topic that dude talked about.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's where the backlash is.
Yeah, I don't know where the line is on that. I'd have to hear the jokes side by side and be like, I don't know.
Well, you know, like let's say like Bill Burr came out with a special 4 years ago. He was talking about stuff that happened 4 years ago that's not relevant to this day.
Right.
Joe Rogan's doing a special live on Netflix the other day, and he's talking about 4 years ago shit. And I'm just saying, it might have been 2 years, it might have been 10 years ago. Who knows?
Right.
But it's like, there's not enough stuff going on in the world nowadays that you can have a whole special where you don't mention anything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Joey. Unbelievable. You figure it'd be funny, dude.
Yeah.
He hangs out with nothing but comedians.
Yeah. I mean, but some of them aren't funny. What's that? Joey Diaz? I don't find that guy funny at all. He's like, yeah, fucking cocksucker. That's like everything out of his mouth.
Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah. I'm just like, yeah, okay. It's just not, I'm over it.
But that's the thing. He thinks
that
Joey
hilarious.
Diaz is one of the best comedians there is.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I don't think
you ever seen Dave Chappelle?
Yeah.
That's my go-to guy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, I saw a Dave Chappelle special before he started the Chappelle Show back in the day, and I thought it sucked.
Really? Dude, the Chappelle Show was so funny.
Yeah. I'm all, dude, Dave Chappelle's not good. And he was in movies and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's not that good. And then he came out with the Chappelle Show, and I'm like, how is he that funny?
Yeah.
Just the skits are that, you know?
Yeah.
And then he started coming out with specials after the whole thing happened with Comedy Central and stuff. And I'm like, dude, he's so funny. But I remember that one, and he was a lot younger, but I was like, he's not that good.
Really?
So it's not like I've always been a Chappelle guy or whatever.
Hey, he's just working it.
Yeah, but like I think the Chappelle Show helped him because they started doing these like bits or whatever and turning them into like segments in the show. And you're like, dude, that's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of those skits, dude, I'm dying over.
Yeah.
Rick James.
The Rick James.
There was one where there was, I think it was a white family, and the N-word was their last name. And then like they would leave and a new person would come in their place and they would be black.
Yeah.
And I forget the premise around it, but I just, oh my God, I remember laughing at it so hard.
The one with Wayne Brady.
Which one's that?
That Wayne Brady guy. That's like,
well, I know who Wayne Brady is, but. So
he's like in the car with Wayne Brady, but Wayne Brady is like the Ryan Seacrest of African Americans, basically. So he's in the car and they're like going through the ghetto, and Wayne Brady's actually like hood, and Chappelle's all scared. He's like, "You're gonna smoke this," and he's like, doesn't want to do it. And you should watch it. That one's so funny.
I'll check it out.
He's all scared of Wayne Brady.
Yeah,
because he's like a gangster. So that was pretty good. But yeah, shame on you, Joe. Be's funnier. Put us on our podcast or something.
Yeah, it is a little disappointing.
Yeah, I didn't watch it because I wasn't here, but like I did see that it was going to be a live thing. So I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to have to check it out. And then all I've heard is that shit sucked.
Really?
He's just not funny.
Yeah, that sucks.
And I'm like,
and I've always kind of thought maybe like he didn't seem like he was that like stand up, like.
Yeah, like he just doesn't have, I don't know. But then there's guys he hangs out with like Shane Gillis, which is kind of like the same. Like you don't look at him and you really think that he's funny, but he's actually kind of funny.
That dude's fucking hilarious.
I like the bit he does about like he's basically Down syndrome, and you look at him, you're like, oh yeah,
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, he's got it.
But he knows that.
I don't know what makes it, but he's got it.
Yeah, you know that he kind of looks like it.
Yeah,
or he knows it, so he plays into it, and you're like, dude, that's pretty funny.
Yeah,
it's just stuff like that. And I don't know if Joe makes fun of himself or whatever, but he's just like, I just imagine him when he's yelling, doing the UFC stuff. That's exactly what he does, but with like different words that are like supposed to be funny.
Right. Yeah, that's I went and saw Jerry Seinfeld not too long ago, this year. And it was like one of the cleanest shows I've ever seen, and it was hilarious.
Mm.
But one thing he does, you know how he always raises his voice, and in his comedy, he goes over the top with that even,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like too much. It's like, all right, bro, settle down.
Yeah.
Settle down. Just everything you just said was perfect until you went, whatever he does, he just goes over the top, and I'm like, all right, bro. And you know, he's one of the ones that have made it the biggest. Probably one of the wealthiest comedians out there. Yeah. But it's just like, holy smokes. I mean,
Joe
it was
Rogan
expensive. I think it was like $700 for 3 of us to go.
Yeah,
it was expensive, but dude, it was so funny.
Yeah. Dude, I bought my wife a killer purse for that.
Yeah. A killer purse. And then they made a movie. What the hell is the name of the movie? It's basically like a over the top comedy about Kellogg's and like another like Post or something.
Oh, it was a Pop-Tart one.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Pop-Tart one. It was not very good. If you're there for some mediocre entertainment and over the topness, it's kind of funny, but
Probably
I'm like, how does he produce that?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a weird one. I thought it was a documentary. I was going to say something, but I forgot.
Okay.
But yeah, about Jerry.
I don't know.
All
right.
Yeah, but that's going to be it.
All right, guys. A little throwback for you. Tune in next time.
Mm-hmm. Tune in next time. I don't know what I got going on. But
my photo stuff's starting to take off. Pumped on that.
Good. Always a good thing.
Yeah, I got 2 or 3 senior portraits coming up, and then like 5 school teams that reached out. So
Action Image Studios.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
Look up Action Image Studio. And I don't know. Anything else good?
I think I'm good. Just busy trying to pack things and waiting to move in.
Big ass, big thing to take care of here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Moving's got to be the worst. I think it might be the worst thing ever.
I think our situation's all right because we could do it slowly.
Yeah, it's exciting, but at the same time, it's like, fuck, by the time you get done, you're like, oh my God, that was a lot.
Yeah.
5 years later, you still got a few boxes.
That ain't happening this time.
Not this time.
We have plenty of room to have everything.
Nice.
So, looking forward to that. But other than that, just busy trying to, it seems like we've been on a bi-weekly schedule.
For the pod?
Yeah.
Well, you got one in last week.
No.
Oh, it wasn't last week?
The week before.
All right. Well,
yeah, I think it was a week before.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was a week before, and then last week we left, so I didn't post one on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever need one.
Yeah, so I think we're on a bi-weekly schedule right now.
Film on Tuesday. I'll be there.
Yeah. So that's gonna probably be till the end of the year till I actually get the studio set up, and I said that's gonna take a little while to get it where I want it. You know. But once we do that, so let's say beginning of the year, rebranding, new studio.
Now we got to push through it, man. And let's get back to weekly. Come on.
It's just hard.
Yeah, well, it's only an hour.
Yeah. Who was the one that didn't come to the last podcast?
We should do one in your storage garage.
Hey, who's the one that didn't come to the last podcast, actually?
That was me.
Yeah.
But you already had someone, so we're good.
Yeah, but you were supposed to join that one.
Yeah, but I couldn't make it.
Actually turned out good because we did talk about all the reselling shit, which was fun.
Yeah.
But it only takes an hour, didn't have an hour after he committed to an hour. So I don't want to hear it from you.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah. So
let's do it every week.
Maybe we'll do it every week, but for sure bi-weekly is going to happen for sure. So make sure you tune in. Give us a rating on anything you want. You guys don't do it anyways, but I'll just tell you guys to do it. Follow us. You guys don't do that either. Well, if you're listening, you already follow us. So thank you so much. Tell a friend. Tell your baby mamas. Hit us up. All socials. YouTube. Apple Pod. Spotify. Shout out to all the ladies on Spotify. Our Spotify listeners is mostly all females. Which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
See ya.